Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling something that looks simple, but is actually pretty complex in English.
Yeah, the phrasal verb, tiny words, huge impact.
Exactly. Those little combinations like verb plus preposition or adverb that, well, they completely change the meaning sometimes.
And that's where learners often get tripped up,
Yes.
It's like a final boss for fluency. Yeah. So today we're focusing on four really common ones. Drop off, put on, made up, and take after. These are absolute workhorses of everyday English. Nailing these down, understanding how flexible they are, it's a massive shortcut. Helps avoid those awkward misunderstandings, too.
Right. So our mission today, clarity. We're going to sort of peel back the layers on these four, look at all their different, sometimes even contradictory meanings.
The goal is that by the end of this, you'll feel, well, much more confident using them.
Because if you only know one meaning for each of these, you're missing a lot, aren't you?
Oh, definitely. You're probably only getting like 20% of how they're actually used in real conversation. We need to unlock the rest. Okay, let's start unpacking. First up, drop off. Now, this one's interesting because it lives in two very different areas.
Mm-hmm.
The first meaning is very physical, practical. It's about delivering someone or something.
You're taking them somewhere and leaving them there. The classic transportation use.
Like dropping the kids off at school.
Exactly. Or a friend at the airport, the train station. Simple arrival and departure.
And it works for things, too, not just people.
Yep, absolutely. You can drop off your dry cleaning, drop off a package at the post office. It's that sense of completing a quick task, leaving something.
Okay, straightforward enough. But then there's the second meaning.
Ah, yes. The sharp left turn, as you said.
It has absolutely nothing to do with driving or packages. It means falling asleep.
Falling asleep, usually quite quickly and often unintentionally. That sudden, maybe involuntary nod off.
You hear it quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, I was so tired, I just dropped off on the sofa. Precisely. Or, the lecture was so dull, I dropped off about halfway through. It captures that quick transition into sleep.
So you've got delivery on one hand and falling asleep on the other. They seem worlds apart.
On the surface, yeah, totally unrelated.
But there's a neat insight here, isn't there, about what connects them?
There is. It's subtle, but it helps. Think about the core idea of being. Well, let go.
Let go. How so?
Well, in the first case, you intentionally let go of the passenger or the package at their destination. Your task is done.
Okay.
And in the second case, falling asleep, it's like your mind or your consciousness kind of lets go, slips away.
Ah, I see that. One's an intentional letting go, the other's involuntary.
Exactly. You choose to drop off the package, but you just happen to drop off during the boring film.
That connection, thinking about release or letting go, actually makes it easier to remember both. It's not just two random meanings anymore.
Right. It's one core concept applied differently. That's often the trick with phrasal verbs. Makes them much more usable.
Okay, so drop off had that interesting duality. Our next one, put on, feels even more versatile. Like a Swiss Army knife of verbs.
Huh. That's a good way to put it. It covers a huge range. Things you can see, things you can hear, and things that are completely fake.
Let's start with the most obvious one, the visible one. Getting dressed.
Yep. Putting on clothes, shoes, makeup, accessories. Hang on, I need to put on my coat. That's meaning number one. It establishes this idea of applying something to yourself.
Applying. Okay.
Yeah.
And that idea carries over? It does. Think about the second use. Starting something, often for sound or performance, like putting on music.
Exactly. You're applying the music to the environment, starting it.
Where?
Or a theater might put on a play. They're starting, presenting a performance, applying to the stage, you could say.
So applying clothes, applying music, or a show. What's the third one? The fake one.
Ah, the figurative use, deception or acting. If you put on an act or put on a special voice or put on an accent.
You're applying a false front, a temporary identity.
Precisely. You're pretending. Like he wasn't really upset, he was just putting it on. Or the example of someone putting on a British accent for fun.
It's interesting how performance links the show meaning and the pretending meaning. You put on a play, you put on an act.
Absolutely. The common thread is applying something external and often temporary. A coat is temporary. A song playing is temporary. A fake accent is temporary.
Even when someone says, like, stop putting on airs, it means stop applying that false superiority.
You got it. It's always about adding or applying something that wasn't there before, often just for a time.
Okay, so that synthesis helps. For put on, think apply. Apply clothes, apply music by starting it, apply a show by presenting it, or apply an act by pretending.
And the context makes it clear which application we mean. Nobody hears, I need to put on my shoes, and thinks you're about to start pretending.
Right.
Context is king. Okay, moving to our third phrase,
Yeah.
made up. Now, this is the past tense of makeup, and it seems to juggle, what, three distinct jobs? Yeah, three main ones.
Yeah.
Invention, reconciliation, and composition.
Let's start with invention. This is the one often linked to, well, lying, isn't it?
Often, yes. To make up a story or an excuse. She made up some excuse about the train being late. It definitely implies creativity, and yeah, usually suggests it's not true.
But why is that assumption so strong? If I say he made up a story, why does everyone just assume he lied? What if he, wrote a children's book?
It's really down to common usage and social context. We use it so often to mean inventing a falsehood to cover something, that meaning has become dominant in casual chat.
So if you do mean creative writing, you have to be more specific.
Pretty much. You'd usually add detail. He made up a fantastic story for his creative writing class, or the kids made up a new game. Without that extra context, the default assumption is often, a fib.
Okay, that's a really useful practical tip. Good to know. Now, the second meaning is quite different. Warmer. Reconciliation.
To become friends again after a fight. They argued, but they've made up now.
How does that connect? Inventing lies and making friends again seem unrelated.
Well, think about the core idea of making or forming something whole. When you reconcile, you're taking the broken pieces of a relationship and making it whole again, forming a complete unit.
Ah, forming a whole. Okay, I can see that. And does that link to the third meaning, composition?
Exactly. The third meaning is to compose, constitute, or form something. This team is made up of people from different departments. The parts, people, make up the whole team.
So the connection is forming a whole. You form a whole story, true or not. You form a whole relationship again after a fight. Or you describe the parts that form a whole group.
Precisely. It all circles back to that idea of creation, formation, or structure. It shows there's often an underlying logic, even if it's not obvious at first glance.
That really helps make sense of it. Okay, our final phrase today is take after. And this one feels much more focused.
Yeah, it's refreshingly specific compared to the others. It operates in a very narrow lane. Family connections. So its meaning is basically resemblance within a family. That's it. Resembling a family member, it could be in physical appearance, like she really takes after her father, same eyes. Or maybe more often, it's about personality, habits, talents.
Like he takes after his grandmother. They're both amazing cooks.
Exactly. Or you really take after your mom, always losing your keys. It's about those inherited or shared family traits.
And the key thing here is the restriction, right? It's only for family.
Crucially, yes. For learners, this is vital. You anchor it to family. You wouldn't say, I take after my favorite musician, or I take after my boss. It just doesn't work that way in English.
Unless, like, the source material joked, your boss is secretly your uncle or something.
Yeah, right. Barring those rare exceptions, it's strictly family. You'd use other words like resemble or admire or emulate for non-family likeness.
It shows how English sometimes demands precision, a specific verb just for family resemblance.
It does. And when used correctly, it's very efficient and clear.
Okay, brilliant. So we've covered, at least 10 different meanings across just these 4 phrases?
At least. Drop off, put on, made up, take after. Loads of meaning packed in there.
Now, the best way to make this stuff stick is to see it all working together. Can we try weaving them into a little scenario?
Yeah, let's put them in action.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine this. This morning, I managed to drop off my library books just before they closed. Phew.
Okay. Delivery meaning. Got it.
Right. And I was in such a rush, I'd just put on the first T-shirt I found. Didn't even check if it was clean, probably.
Dressing meaning of put on.
Yep. Then I got to work late, and my colleague asked why. So, I quickly made up some story about a huge traffic jam.
Ah, the invention-line meaning of made up. Naughty.
Oh, And my other colleague just grinned because she says, I totally take after my dad, who apparently could spin a yarn about anything.
Perfect. Resemblance meaning of take after. That little story used all 4 naturally. Delivery, dressing, inventing, and family likeness.
And that's how they work in real life. They're the kind of building blocks of natural chat. They let you convey quite a bit with simple words as long as you grasp the context.
Okay, let's do a super quick recap for everyone listening. Drop off. Deliver someone or something, or fall asleep. Think. Letting go. Put on. Dress yourself. Start something. Music. Show. Or pretend. Think. Applying something temporarily. Made up. Invent, often a lie. Reconcile after a fight, or kentry, consists of compose, think, making something whole.
And finally, take after. Resemble a family member, looks, or personality, think. Inherited likeness. So yeah, 4 seemingly simple verbs, but packing at least 10 essential meanings.
It really drives home how vital context is in English, doesn't it? You have to listen to the surrounding words.
Absolutely mandatory. Otherwise, how do you know if someone's starting a song or starting a lie?
Which brings us to a final thought, a little challenge for you listening. Using what we've just discussed, imagine you had to describe, say, a politician giving a speech, using both put on and made up in the same sentence. How could you phrase it so it's crystal clear they were pretending, putting on an act, and inventing facts, making things up, without confusing the two meanings?
Ooh, that's a good one. It forces you to really think about structuring the sentence, using maybe extra words to keep the meanings separate but clear.
Exactly. A fun linguistic puzzle to test that contextual understanding.
Definitely something to mull over. It shows how much control you gain when you master these nuances.
Well, we hope this deep dive helps you drop off any confusion and maybe put on a bit more confidence with these tricky verbs.
Yeah, give them a try. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.